It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Sensabaugh throws it out in front to Keontae. Nice catch and a layup in transition. Jazz need a bucket. Sensabaugh at the top. Comes off a Kessler pick to the right hand at the top. Lobs to Walker. He's at the rim. Slam dunk.
The margins between winning and losing are very small. And you walk out of here feeling terrible, but I know that it wasn't 48 bad minutes. It was 45 pretty good minutes, and then 3 minutes at the end where we didn't execute at our best. But it's a really good experience for our guys to be in this situation, to feel those moments and deal with them together. It'll be good for us to learn from the film.
There's Will Hardy, the head coach, after the Utah Jazz lose to the Charlotte Hornets 117-112. PK, you and I have listened to a lot of players and coaches, and probably front office people for that matter too, talk after losses and shook our heads at excuses or context that is missing or just plain bad answers. That was a pretty solid answer right there from Will Hardy. There was a lot of good stuff in that game. They did mess up the end of that game. And given the context of this year, I don't see why people would really be upset that the young guys messed up the end of that game. It's not, not a moral victory, but something to learn from and build off of, as you like to say.
Okay. But he did say he felt terrible. You feel terrible, so there's that. Which
that's honest, though.
No, it's not.
Oh, you don't think so? You don't think he feels terrible?
No, he has to say it.
You think the players
I care
feel
about
terrible?
us losing.
Do you think the players feel terrible? They go back to the locker room.
Terrible?
Is he speaking on behalf of the team rather than himself personally?
He's speaking on behalf of the fan base because the fan base is out there cheering for him.
Yeah,
it's what he's supposed to say.
Some of the fan base is there co-signing this, like, good. You played well and lost a 5-point game.
Not when you go to the games.
No, those people are going crazy.
That's who he's talking to. Yeah, I think it's sort of cliche, and he has to say it. I'm not criticizing him for saying it, but I've heard it how many times now, and I'm 1,000% fine with it. The only thing I wasn't fine with that game is I don't think Keontae George has separated himself where he gets to shoot the green light whenever he wants. It just seemed like it was a little bit of one-on-one ball for me, and you know he's a 40% shooter. And it's not like he played poorly. It's just like it seemed like his mindset was that summer league game when we saw him at the Delta Center in that first game. I don't remember if he played anymore. He just came down and like, okay, this is my team. I don't think you've earned that right to have this is my team. Now maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. But as I was watching the game, that's the way I felt that he felt like. I don't know if they told him. If they told him, so be it. But I felt like he felt, okay, guys, this is my team. I get to jack it whenever I want. I'm the best player on this team, the folks who played last night, and so I get to hoist it up. And I don't think he's achieved that level yet.
Certainly hasn't achieved that level on what would be a good team. What is he getting told as far as how much is he supposed to run the team and how much is he supposed to be? I mean, they're a little short on scores right now, given everybody who's sitting out. Sensabaugh had better get some shots, and he did. And he got 16 of them. That's not a small number right there.
Right, but why did he
why does Keontae get 22?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with you getting 15, but 22 is a lot. Why didn't Sensabaugh get 22?
And it just seemed like he thought,
I'm the guy.
I can shoot. I'm the guy. Said. I'm the guy. Yeah,
I'm the guy. And
that's the way I took it.
It probably comes down to a totally
different feeling.
For a long time, he has been the guy, and he probably has gotten that from his coaches. But you do get to a level where you got to relearn that, right? There was just a press conference maybe a week ago where Will Hardy said that with Johnny Juzang, he sat him down and had what he referred to as a hard conversation. And basically, if you had to sum it up really quick, the answer was much longer and more nuanced, but it was like, Johnny, you're not the guy. Here's 2 things we need you to do if you're going to play in the NBA. And he was congratulating Johnny because he's embraced that role, as opposed to being, the guy at UCLA, and you get to have the ball, and you take a lot of mid-range shots, and you get a lot of FGAs. Here, you got to be on the three-point line. You got to be ready. When it comes to you, you shoot it, but it ain't going to come to you a lot.
And I wouldn't say relearn it. I'd say earn it. I don't think he's earned it.
117-112, the final there. 26 for Keontae George on 22 shots. 19 for Sensabaugh on 16 shots. And Charlotte gets win number 9. They are in the race to the bottom like the Jazz. The Jazz are sitting on 10 wins now. Charlotte's sitting on 9. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Underhand toss to Alpe. To him, behind him to Jalen. Pick set by Alpe. Three-pointer on the way. Up and in, and the Rockets are raining threes in the Mile High City.
Kawhi pushing the pace into the front court. Spins right shoulder. Drives. Steps back. A baseline jumper is perfect. Kawhi Leonard. Crispy and clean. And the Clippers go up 90-38.
Maxey looking, finds Yabusele in the high post. Picks up his dribble. Hart knocks it away from behind. Spins away with the steal. A 2-on-1. Hart lobs. Bridges slams it down with a minute to go.
2:44. Down the stretch we come. Barrett curls into the lane. Drive. Lay it up and in.
Highlights from around the NBA. It was a great night for Tank Note. A great night for the race to the bottom. The Pelicans beat the Mavericks 119-116. Jazz are going to see the Pelicans Friday. That's the next game. So New Orleans picks up a win, and then unexpectedly the Celtics get beat by the Raptors. Toronto 110-97. So the Jazz, there's only 4 teams with a worse record, and 3 of them won because obviously Charlotte beat the Jazz. So you had to like the scores you were seeing.
Oh, no question about it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the shocker would be the Raptors beating the Celtics.
Yeah, nobody in their right mind was anticipating that, right?
I mean, the Mavericks are watered down right now.
Yep. Been out without Luka for a long time, and Kyrie missed a lot of time, and when he has played, he hasn't looked right. Yeah. So coming back for that 4 for 18, it's like, are you healthy? Really? So to beat the defending champs, that's the shocker right there. Boston drops to 28-12. The bizarro score of the night: Clippers 126, Nets 67. I've seen blowouts before, but 59 points, largest margin of victory in Clipper history, as it should be. There shouldn't be 50-point games. A 59-point blowout right there.
Ugly,
exactly.
I'm glad they moved that in New Jersey.
You don't want to have to claim that?
No.
Blame that on Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, how could you?
So my grandmother lives, but she can claim it.
That's in her. The Phoenix Suns acquired center Nick Richards in a trade with the Hornets. Should help a struggling Suns team who are last in the league in scoring at the starting center position there. Richards is a 7-footer in his 5th year, averages 9 points, 7.5 rebounds. PK, we were just talking yesterday about teams that they got big names, but it's over. The peak days, the glory days are gone. We were talking about the Warriors who were 20-20 because Steph was saying don't mortgage the future for now. That's not a good idea. And the Suns are 19-20. I don't think they just mortgaged the future there. Second-round pick goes in there. 3 future second-round picks go in there.
Well, you can give all the second-round picks they want.
Right,
Who cares?
Exactly. But that's not really going to move the needle much for a team that's sitting tied for 11th with San Antonio right now.
They get better, but maybe they get better.
Yeah.
Obviously, they think they get better, but I don't expect them to be playing in June.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
I know this. He's very conscientious. He comes in, he spends a lot of time here. He was here in my office for half an hour yesterday. Yeah, I think it's all in front of him. And I've said this before. I think we found, that player that can lead us and be what we need relative to having the success we're used to having. I think we found it.
Selfishly, I want an offensive-minded guy so I can build with him and be with that coach for the next 19, 17, 15 years. And so I can also learn and grow and, things like that from him and what he's seen and what he's gone through with, maybe other QBs or been around.
Hopefully we have some heaters on the sideline, bigger jacket, probably. I got to talk to Kaneko to see what he got going on, equipment guys. They pretty much do a great job, though, so we should be good.
But you don't do gloves under any circumstances?
No. I tried it in practice. I was horrible. Leave that up to Teddy, 2 gloves, Teddy Bridgewater.
Shout out to Teddy. Aside, it seems like you do handle the cold weather pretty well. I mean, being a Florida guy and everything.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to win, so it really don't matter. I can't go into a game and be like, man, it's too cold. I can't make things happen.
There's Lamar Jackson getting quizzed about the forecast for cold in Buffalo. High of 33, low of 8 on Sunday. Wind chill could be taking temperatures down to close to 0.
0?
0!
Oh, Moron.
I know, right? I mean, they are built for the cold. They're running the ball, not throwing it. You know, you get the wind chill in there. That suggests, hey, there's going to be some wind, and that's really the element that crushes passing games. Chill, clearly. Well, Buffalo in January. So
I don't know. He played at Louisville. He's been in Baltimore now for a while. Right. I mean, it's just as cold for him as it is everybody else.
It snows in Baltimore. It's like you said, I can't be going out there thinking, well, it's cold. I can't make plays. So.
I saw him when he did that interview, though. He had some contraption on that you only saw his face.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he can cover the ears, because you can't have cold ears, man.
No, some about like if your head stays warm and your feet stay warm, then you stay warm.
Yeah,
that's where the cold really starts.
Yeah, it was a hoodie, but it was like compressed, like you wear your pants on your legs. I mean, so it went over his ears and came down like to the top of his head and below his chin. So those parts of your body need to be warm.
In the game, you just need peripheral vision. As long as you got that, you can do whatever you want to stay warm.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to this game.
I know. It is a juicy game, right? MVP caliber quarterbacks. You got a multiple MVP over there in Lamar Jackson. And they've got the teams around them, it looks like, right now. It's not where you're seeing a star quarterback, but he doesn't really have the team around him.
Well, plus, the only reason why I'm looking forward to it is it's because two Utes, Dalton Kincaid and Cole Bishop versus Kyle Van Noy. It's BYU Utah all over again.
Nice. The rivalry and all things. In there, you also heard Sean Payton, Broncos coach, says he feels like Bo Nix is the guy they need in Denver. We were just talking about Keontae George. Does he feel like he's the guy? There's Sean Payton saying to Bo Nix publicly, you are the guy.
Well, he should, but I know I'm going to reserve judgment a little bit there. He had a nice rookie year. There's no question about it. And they're a building franchise, and they've been running through quarterbacks since John Elway and Peyton Manning, and I can't even name them all, right? Like
not all of them.
So many of them.
Yeah.
And Nix looked like he played, but at the same time, Mark Sanchez got the Jets into a couple of finals in the Eastern Conference, and then
it all fell apart.
Conference, I should say, not the Eastern Conference. Yeah, and then so. But I get where Peyton's coming from. I would say that too. And boy, did you hear him also that Christian didn't play that part, where he said that this time last year was just awful. He went like ugh. I mean, clearly was taking a shot. He literally went ugh. He's clearly
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Shot at Russell Wilson. And is Wilson going to be back in Pittsburgh? Because in the end, that's what Seattle was thinking. Now, Seattle was careful about saying it publicly before they traded Wilson because they didn't want to wreck the market for him. But clearly that's what they were thinking.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. He sort of fell off the face of the earth there.
He's rubbing people the wrong ways during the week because the quarterback isn't great on the weekend,
man. I know all
but it
about
isn't that bad.
I rub people wrong on Tuesdays.
Caleb Williams says he wants the Bears to hire an offensive-minded head coach. You heard him in there on that, too.
Rex Ryan, come on down.
Not an offensive-minded head coach.
I thought he said offensive. I didn't know. Yeah, literally offensive.
Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh slated to have two major procedures this offseason, a cardiac ablation and hip replacement. Harbaugh had to wear a heart monitor for 2 weeks this season after he dealt with atrial flutter and abnormally high heart rate. Harbaugh has previously said he wouldn't consider retiring because of his health issues. Quote, "It would take my heart stopping for me not to be out there on the sideline." Close quote. And he dropped that quote in October.
Well, that's the only thing I don't want to see, and hopefully for him, he doesn't have that. I mean,
exactly.
The hip thing, doesn't seem as serious. But when you start mentioning heart, I'm so grateful I don't have a heart.
Good to be heartless. DJ and PK.
#Utah.
A victory for the Runnin' Utes, their second Big 12 win of the season, their first Big 12 road win. They go to TCU and win 73-65. You got to be surprised by that, PK. You were talking TCU up before the BYU game, and they delivered and beat BYU. but not so much here. Utah, that's a good win for them. That had to be a fun plane ride home. They've done some losing to get a road win. They were terrible on the road last year. They were great at home last year, but terrible on the road. So that's a big deal for them breaking through there.
Any win on the road, any win in conference from here on out is huge for that program, for just about any program for that matter. I don't know how in the crap BYU lost to those guys. Man, that TCU looked awful.
Utah, BYU, and TCU all 2 and 3 in the league right now, and that sets it up at the Huntsman Center. Utes or Cougars? Who's getting to 3 and 3 and feeling pretty good about themselves, and who is about to be 2 and 4 and feeling horrible about themselves? Just ups the stakes for the game, which, although what you said about TCU wasn't great, what you said about the game at the Huntsman Center looks like it's spot on now. When I was poo-pooing it earlier, like, is it really going to be that great a game? And could BYU lose it? And you're like, rivalry game, things can happen. The Utes are good enough with all that emotion that something could happen. And now, how can you argue with that? This game looks juicier now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
11-5 BYU, 10-6 Utah. They both have scheduled a lot of non-conference wins. They're both way short on the quality wins. At this point, it's the Big 12, so they'll have a chance to get them. But you got to take care of business in a game like this, and obviously only one of them will be able to.
And that's the great thing about this conference is it allows you many, many opportunities if you're out to get in. It's not like the West Coast Conference where you had like 4 games, and you better go 3-1. And you better have had a really scintillating non-conference because beating Pacific isn't going to do anything for anybody. Losing for them is crushing. And so here, I don't know if either of these teams will make it, but they've got the next 6 weeks to show us that, you do belong.
Plenty of ranked teams in the league. BYU already played Houston, but Iowa State, Houston, Kansas, Baylor. And in this league, in basketball, everybody plays everybody once, and then you have 3 regional rivals you play twice, which in this case the Utah and Arizona schools are all playing home and home.
Well, yeah, but they play them more than once potentially. If in the conference tournament, those count just the same.
Yep, you'll have a chance to pick up more good wins there. Gabe Manson led the way. He had 17 points. Didn't do it on threes. He was 2 of 11 from 3, but had a 17-point game. So Utah, 73-65 at TCU. The other Ute note to pass along, former Utah football coach Urban Meyer will be inducted into the 2025 College Football Hall of Fame. Meyer went 22-2 at Utah, went to Florida and won a couple national titles, also won a title with Ohio State. I always thought one of the oddities of his career was he had 2 undefeated seasons and 3 national titles, and they were 5 totally different seasons. You'd think he'd have an unbeaten national title team at some point, but it's not how it ended up working out. DJ PK.
Hashtag Utah State.
Martinez will take another 3. Left wing, that is good. Ian Martinez, he's got 8 points on the night tonight. Martinez behind the back pass to Templin for 3. Banks it in. Oh, the bank is open for Carson Templin. Hopefully he called it. The Aggies up by 4, 22-18. As Templin gets on the board. He's got 6 points on the night tonight. Jared Calhoun not calling timeout. Letting his guys run things. Drake Allen to Templin, then to Falslip. Falslip the drive. Falslip blocked at the rim and collected by UNLV. It's knocked out of bounds off of Utah State. Falslip driving the lane and blocked at the rim. And UNLV has the ball and a 1-point lead, 63-62.
And Utah State loses 65-62. Utah State gets beat by the Rebels. That's their first conference loss. They dropped to 6-1. PK, they had their chances. They had that 7-point lead with 5 minutes to go, and they took a transition 3 that made me cringe the second it was launched. Don't do it. Time and score. How many times did Rick Majerus tell you time and score after a game? Time and score. But they took it. Yeah. They took it. They launched it. They missed it. I think I'm more aggressive in the 3-point realm than you. I think all these threes bother me less than you. I got to say, that one bothered me when he was launching it. That was a no, don't do it. And after that, it seemed momentum's a funny thing. They had a possession late after the block there. They had another possession where possession, tip, offensive rebound, put back, turnaround, 8-footer in the lane, tip, and it just would not. There was a lid on that basket. On that possession, they got a lot of great shots, but couldn't put it in, so they take their first conference loss of the year, the second on the season.
Whoop-de-doo. Win your home games. You're going to lose 2 or 3 games on the road. Go down to Vegas, win at least one game, and you are firmly in. You're already at that level. Now, you got to do it, and I suspect strongly that they will do it. And they got to get better at the free throw line, 8 of 15.
Yep.
Come on.
53%, leaving 7 points at the line in a 3-point game.
That's just not good.
They get a bye. Everybody around the program has been talking, including the coach, about all the road trips, the way the thing, and the team is worn down. And, okay, well, it's a league with an odd number of teams. Everybody's got to have a game day off at some point, and the math just doesn't work. So they're off Saturday. You got a week to get your legs back, all that stuff.
That'd be totally fine. I mean, and Vegas was jacked for the game. It's a ranked team. But, I was shocked. The announcers were saying that Vegas, as far as at least the NIT, they haven't been in the postseason in 11 years until they broke it last year. Wow, I didn't realize it was that long. And Kevin Kruger, does he look exactly like Lon Kruger?
Spitting image. I thought that every time they took a shot of him. I'm like, man, you look exactly like your dad. You look exactly like him.
Yeah.
Kind of the same body language mannerisms.
Yeah.
As well as just the physical features. The same hairline and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he's a spitting image.
His kid played at ASU. I think he was the first one to take advantage of that grad transfer where if they don't have a major, and of course you just find one that they don't have.
Right.
And so he went to UNLV. But when he was playing at ASU, Lon was coaching BYU. And we were down in some little small room with me, Dave Rose, and Lon. I was talking with Dave, and we walked in the room to watch the game. And it was fun watching the game. This before Vegas was playing BYU, obviously, at the Marriott Center. And just watching Lon. He was a dad. He wasn't a coach at that point. He was a dad. And it was fun watching him watch his son play. And now he's doing it again as a coach rather than watching his son play. He's watching him coach.
Well, UNLV's 10-7 and 4-2 in conference. Jared Calhoun had a line afterwards about basically there's no difference in this conference. Anybody can win anytime, anybody can lose anytime. And man, 7 games in, the Aggie scores back that up. All these games have been decided. The blowout so far is that 8-point San Jose State game. And that, if you were watching that didn't feel like a blowout. I always felt like they were in control, but it also felt like they were 2 or 3 possessions away from a major problem. And then San Jose beat New Mexico for New Mexico's only loss. So
that's unbelievable.
He's spot on. Anyone can beat anyone. DJ and PK.
#NHL.
Utah Hockey Club will host the New York Rangers tonight. Anything sound more big time than that, PK? The New York Rangers. I mean, there's teams that win a lot more, obviously, but
it's the hockey team of my youth.
Yeah, right. Back-to-back losses for the Utah Hockey Club. 10 of their last 12, 1-3 on this homestand. Can they turn it around? Rangers come in off a 3-2 overtime loss to the Avalanche Tuesday. Both teams have had one day off. Pregame starts at 6 here on the Zone. The puck will drop at 7. At some point, they're going to get off the schneid. The Rangers have a very similar record. 20 wins, 20 losses, 3 overtime losses, sitting on 43 points. And Utah's also sitting on 43 points at 18 wins, 18 losses, and 7 overtime L's. So, sounds like a pretty even matchup. Who gets her done? We'll find out tonight, right here on The Zone. That's what's trending, brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, former Ute Josh Grant will join us at 8 o'clock. We'll look ahead to the Utah-BYU game Saturday night. With him, Cole Bagley will be here to talk about the hockey team's struggles and how they can turn it around at 9 o'clock. DJ and PK, question of the day, next.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Christian's never seen Almost Famous because you and I are both ancient. One of the best movies ever. And Earl is the lead singer. Jason Lee.
Jason Lee. Who started his career as a professional skateboarder. Do you know that? He's like one of the greatest skateboarders of all time. And was like, I'm going to shift into being a big-time actor.
Scientologist.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
What do you mean? Isn't it a well-known fact that Jason Lee is a Scientologist?
I just thought it was a little irrelevant to the story, but
well known to one out of the three of us.
I don't know. I was thinking of all the things that I know about Jason Lee. Ben dropped this skateboarder thing in there, which seemed fairly fascinating. I just happen to know the guy's a Scientologist. That's all. What are you implying?
About Jason Lee today.
What are you saying? I wasn't saying anything negative about him. I just pointed it out. Scientologist.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.